Hi everyone, Christine here at Christine's Craft Table. I thought I would sit with you for a bit and work on my crochet. Your virtual crochet buddy is back with episode 3 of Crocheting with Christine. Today I am working on a 4 corners granny square. The tutorial was by Jada and Stitches at Jada and Stitches. And this is part of the Granny's Magical Cupboard blanket for 2024. It's a crochet along. Every month Jada gives us a pattern for a granny square, and then we do up as many as we need to arrive at the blanket size that we want to put together at the end of the year. So April is the 4th month, and this is our 4th pattern, and I'm having quite a time with it. It looks difficult. It's not difficult, but it requires concentration. I have done a lot of frogging, a lot of redoing the last stitch before a color change because I keep forgetting to change colors. So yeah, and I'm not positive I'm crazy about the pattern. I'll show you the ones I've done already. This is my 4th and last square, purple, grape and white, and grape and amethyst, and sage and dark sage. I think I like this colorway the best. But on a day you have a headache, you do not want to be looking at this pattern. I don't have a headache today, but the other day I did, and it was difficult to work on this. So my green and white is my last pattern. And yeah, so I have mixed feelings on this. And what happens is it's either shells or 3 double crochet together, and you're alternating, and every time that you switch stitch pattern, you switch colors, and you're carrying along both colors with you. And the other thing that keeps happening to me is these two get all twisted up. So I am constantly having to unwind my yarn. I'm not sure what is causing me to do that. So it is what it is. But I'm on the last square, so I'm excited about that. So see, I'm on my last double crochet of this shell, and you just pick up the new color to finish the last double crochet. And what I keep doing is finishing that last double crochet, and then I'm like, oh, gotta change colors. So I'm getting really good at just undoing that last part and putting the hook back into those last 2 loops to gather up the new color. So now I am on the double crochet 3 together. You just have to remember to only go through 2 loops before you pick up the next one. Oh, see? And then I keep closing off the double crochet 3 together, and what you have to do is change colors on that one. So now I have to go back through my 4 loops, if I can, very carefully. And some of the yarn I'm using is Big Twist from Joanne, and Big Twists untwists very easily. This yarn splits. Okay, so now I redid my last, closing off that stitch with the new color. To go to the next one, which is now a shell. And then you have to remember to constantly have the one you're carrying at the top of the stitches that you're making so that it carries along. So between all those things that you have to remember, I forget at least one of them every few stitches, and so am redoing things constantly. So that is the challenge of this pattern. And yes, I suppose if I sat here quietly, which I have done with some of the other squares, and just totally concentrated on what I'm doing, I will make less mistakes. However, I just don't do well sitting quietly with no input or output. Voices. I need voices. So, of course, YouTube videos that cause me to look up a lot are not conducive to working, getting much of this finished. I actually finished that right, but then I'm trying to figure out what to do next. And the corners are normal. So when you get to a corner, you get to do your 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets without having to think too much, except for when you finish the last double crochet, you don't finish it. You change colors. So you finish it with the new color, or color 2. She actually showed us that you could work this with 3 colors, but I'm glad I didn't try it because 2 colors is challenging enough. And I think it will look very pretty in the blanket. I do not need the 3 colors. I'm using lots of colors in the other. I set my camera on top of my yarn. I'm using a lot of color in the, hold on, in the other squares. So these can be a little more simple because the pattern is like craziness. So, and again, I finished my double crochet without changing colors. Here we go. I'm getting a lot of practice changing colors and carrying yarn. For this reason, I think I would probably not do well with graph work, or basically anything where you're just having to carry yarn. It's not relaxing. It's stressful. And that is not why I crochet. I do not crochet for stress. No. A shell. There are some nice tips that she gave us, like whenever you see green, you know that your stitch on top of it is going to be green. Whenever you see white, the stitch on top of it is going to be white. So that's a nice guide. You're always using the same color as the stitch below. So if you find yourself not using the same color, you've done something wrong. Except for the corners, there's always an exception. The corners are the opposite. You're always changing color on a corner. I don't mean to give a tutorial here. I'm just venting. I know it will be beautiful in the end. At least that's my hope. I think I chose pretty colors for this. I was thinking of is it the iris? The purple, that deep purple iris with the green stem and it's got like a yellow or gold on the inside. That's what I was thinking of when I chose the colors for this blanket. Although I'm not using gold. It was just the purple, the green, and the white that I liked. That's interesting. I didn't introduce gold at all. I didn't think of it, actually. I think this is a really nice colorway, though. Here's almost all the colors in this square from last month. I think that's really pretty. So, here's some of my others if you've forgotten. I've showed them in other videos, but we can do a little slideshow. I love the way that one turned out. Looks like a flower, huh? Cool, very cool. These were lots of fun too. They have been blocked or they would look like little scrunchy, unidentifiable patterns. And that's February. I think I have them in order. Maybe I don't. Let's just enjoy the pretty colors. Shall we? So yeah, I am looking forward to putting this blanket together, and we are only on month 4. There you go. And then my 4 crazy ones. So we are at, okay, I shouldn't be making you look up a lot, because the idea is that you are crocheting with me, right? Something like that. No, that's wrong. I'm at the end of a row. Carry my yarn and do a slip stitch. You're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And even rows start with a chain 3. No, odd rows start with a chain 3. Even rows start with a chain 2. So she gave us all these little tips that really do help. If there were a way to make this easier, she gave us all that we needed. It's just, I don't think the pattern itself works well with my brain. Okay. That was a shell. But I carry on with faith that it will add beauty to the blankets. This really is the year of the granny square for me. I am doing so many things with granny squares. It all started when I got a mystery box from, was it Joann's? Yes, last year. Last year? Yeah. For my birthday, I bought 4 mystery boxes. 2 from Joann's and 2 from Webb's Yarn. And the 2 from Joann's were exactly the same. And they came with this, I included it, I think, in a different video. But it came with this lime green Caron Simply Soft. It was all Caron Simply Soft. The colors were lime green, this orange and peach speckled, and then super duper yellow. And there's a reason they call it super duper yellow. It's about as yellow as this tennis ball. Anyway, and I'm like, what in the world am I going to do with these bright colors? Well, daisies came to mind pretty quickly. Not for the orange speckled, for the green and the yellow. So that's what I did. I made daisy granny squares with a lot of the green and the yellow and white. I added white that I picked up of Caron Simply Soft. So it's all Caron Simply Soft. And the nice thing was too, I had never worked with Caron Simply Soft before. So that was a plus to get to work with it and to discover I liked it. I really like it. The blankets that it makes are so drapey and soft. I can see why a lot of people like it. I know a lot of people don't like it because they say it's too slippery and it splits. It's just one of those yarns you have to take care with. But it's worth it. See, this big twist splits, but I'm not sure that it's worth it. I mean, it's not. It doesn't have that extra softness that you get from Caron Simply Soft. And the sheen on that yarn is so pretty. I am doing a shell. So, oh, the granny squares. So I made like 40, a whole bunch of granny squares. I was going to do one blanket, all daisy granny squares. And then came Boggy Creek. And everybody was, well, several content creators were doing their version of Boggy Creek blankets. And I jumped on the wagon with pretty much all of them, almost all of them. And one of them was Leanne, Nina's Knots, and Laura, Mad Mimi. And they were doing a granny square challenge. And at the time, there was no limit to how many you could send in. So I thought, wow, I've just made all of these daisy granny squares. I had not started putting them together yet. And I thought, I'll just send them to Lynanne and let her put them together for me, since that's what she was willing to do. So I put them all in an envelope. And she even said that it took her, I forget what the number was, maybe 45 to make a blanket. So I thought, perfect. I have enough for her to make a blanket, all of daisies, if she wants. Her decision. So I sent them off. Little did I know that hundreds of other people were sending her not just envelopes full of granny squares, but boxes full of granny squares. Poor Lynanne was inundated with thousands of granny squares. I mean, you could see the overwhelmed in her countenance toward the end of that whole campaign. Yeah. Thankfully, she, she remained calm and came to terms with the fact there was no way she was going to put together all those granny squares in 1 year. It was just impossible. She could have worked night and day and probably still not been able to. And so she slowed down, decided she was making one or two blankets a week. And so she ended up with, I think, several dozen blankets by the end of it all, but didn't get to nearly all the squares. I think she even shared some squares with others who, in her locale there in Florida, who were able to pitch in and help her. But I haven't seen mine yet, and that's okay. I am not complaining. I understand there were some unforeseen circumstances. I guess I'll see it one year someday. Whether they put them all in one or split them up. I haven't seen that square yet by anybody else. So, I mean, I did see someone made some pink ones. I think the background was pink and then the daisy was white with a yellow center, something like that. I saw she used some like that, but she hasn't come. I haven't seen in any of her blankets my white daisy with the lime green background. It is very identifiable. So if you see it, let me know. But I pretty much catch all of her videos and all of her showings of her completed blankets. So I'll see it eventually, I'm sure. Unless she gave it to somebody else to put together, then I might miss it, because her videos I don't miss, but I might miss it if somebody else does it. However, at the end of the year, well, I guess starting August, when they start sending everything to Nancy, we will get videos of, well, if they do it the same as last year, we'll get videos of showing blankets that Nancy has received, and she's got yarn too for the whole collection campaign for this year. So I might catch them there. Yes, I will keep my eye out, because they were really cute. And I'd like to see them one day in a blanket. Why did I go into that? Oh, because that's when I started my granny squares. My granny square adventure. And then I just got the fever, or whatever it is. I really like doing them. And I think that's when I decided to make after that, I decided to make my purple, green, and white blanket. I don't think I had decided on granny squares for it yet, but then Jada Stitches came along with her blanket idea for 2024. Forgot to carry the yarn. And so I thought, perfect. I have the colorway, I have the yarn, I'm ready to go. That is a 3 together. And then I also started granny squares with my scraps, with my acrylic scraps. I'm making granny squares. Those are all about 10 inches. I got a good stack together, and then I kind of stalled on that because I started working on other projects. That's one of those long-term projects that you work on when you finish all the projects you have going. Lately, though, it's like I can't finish something before another project materializes and I want to get started. I have, like, I don't know, several whips going, 4 or 5 right now, between the monthly make-alongs. You notice we are this one got down to the wire. I mean, my goal is to finish by the end of the month, so I'm ready for the release of the new pattern, and that is going to be coming up very quickly here. The May pattern. But I was working on the month of Bod. I started the crystal shawl along. I started the boggy style blanket. Those are whips now. So I just hadn't, I knew this would go I thought this would go fairly quickly because it was just 4 granny squares. Little did I know it was such a challenging pattern. This is an inverted. And the worst thing is to get going on a row or a round and then come upon a mistake in a previous round and have to frog a whole round, which I have had to do a couple times. Twice, yeah. That hurt. Frogging isn't even easy with this because you can only frog up to the one color, and then you have to pick up the other thread and frog that color and then go it's not just pulling on the string like you usually do. Boy, I am complaining a lot today. I apologize. You can see this is a challenging pattern for me. My goodness. But it's a good learning experience for sure. I've never made a square in this pattern before. So I learned something new this month. And speaking of new projects, I came across a new crochet, well, it's not new, but new to me, a crochet website called Daisy Farm Crafts. And they're pretty big. They have over 300,000 subscribers, probably closer to 400,000. And it's it's a family. I think it's a mom and daughter that run they have a website and Instagram, and then they do YouTube videos. And so I think the main content creators, it's one lady who runs it, and then her daughter does the technical stuff, I think. And then her sister helps her test patterns and actual crochet the patterns that she comes up with. And then I think it's once a month or once every 2 weeks they do this thing called Sister Chat, and it's so fun. They'd get on like a Zoom call. I don't know if that's the software you use, but it's just a live on YouTube where you see half the screen with one of them and half the screen with the other one. And they have chat going, but one of their rules is they don't look at the chat while they're talking, because I forget what their reason was. They just get too sidetracked and they wouldn't cover the things they wanted to cover. And they said they usually go back after the fact and read the comments, but their whole thing is just a conversation between the two of them. And they talk about the projects that they're working on and pretty much anything else the two sisters would talk about. And that's the fun part of it, because I have a sister and we can go on and on the same way. Not as much as we used to, but quite a bit if we get to talking. You just go from one topic to the next, and you look up and say, how did we get here? They do a little bit of that. Oh my goodness. Okay, I need to concentrate for a second here. This is an inverted. I need my green. They'll get on and the first 10 minutes is about their hair that day. And whose hair gave them trouble. It's fun. Anyway, they do mostly, it seems like, or at least what they're talking about the most in the couple of episodes I've watched, were baby blankets. And the one lady, the main, I'm sorry, I forget her name. It's Tiffany and Cindy. Okay. Tiffany is the one who does the designing, and she designs a lot of blankets and very pretty blankets. And one of the things I love about them is she focuses on basic stitches and just putting them together in beautiful ways, in beautiful patterns. She says, you know, you can create so much beauty in the simple stitches. You don't need to get all complicated. And I love that because I have said that myself so many times. I'm just blown away by how many beautiful things you can create with the basic stitches. I like the V-stitch a lot, you know, just combining or doing double crochet, single crochet, V-stitch and different patterns, and it's really cool. But one thing she does a lot of, I think she said she's done like 27 different versions of the gingham, the gingham look, you know, in crochet. And I have wanted to do a gingham blanket in crochet for a while, since I think I saw a pattern on Yarnspirations, and I said, I want to make one of those. I think it's so pretty. I've always loved the gingham pattern, even just in, you know, cotton fabric. And so I want to crochet something like that. So that has got to be one of my upcoming patterns because I need to try it. And what I thought I would use, guess, my leftover Caron Simply Soft in lime green, yellow, and white. I thought it would look really cute too. The yellow will be my medium color, so that's going to flow through the white and through the green. And then you'll see the blocks of just, well, I'm not sure how they all mesh. It's one color that flows through both of the others. And so that's the medium color. And I'm going to use yellow for that color. So some of the blocks will look like a yellow-green, and some will look like a yellow and white. I think it would be pretty. So I'm going to try that because I still have a lot of that yarn. I probably have 800 yards of each, the yellow and the green, and at least that much in white because I've been accumulating white. I figure there's always a purpose or always a use for the color white. And I do love Caron Simply Soft. I love that yarn. So when I can find a sale at Michael's, I go buy a couple skeins of yarn. Okay. I know this is this last square is going so slowly, but that's okay. I just kind of wanted to get on and chat with myself. Yes, I know. Okay, that's a shell. Now we're doing 3 together. Anyway, I'll put a link to their site on the info box. And their chat is very, it's just this normal chat, you know, they don't, I'll just leave it at that. They're fun to watch. I think they're about the same age as me because they're talking about menopause. Menopause symptoms and dealing with that. All of a sudden, one of them will start fanning herself. And so they have a laugh about that. And Tiffany has new grandbabies, and so then they talk a while about the grandbabies and show pictures, and now she's crocheting things for the granddaughter, new granddaughter. And it's cute. She made her something, a bunting, I think, and it was like a total fail. And I love that she's humble and she showed it and showed what she'd done wrong, and they had a laugh about it. But it was, you know, even the designers can mess up. But I like that she wasn't too proud to show her goof. I think they decided it was going to be doll clothes. It just wasn't quite the right proportions that the baby needed. So it was cute. I have watched several of their episodes. And sadly, the very first one I watched is the one where they're saying it's the final one for until after the summer. They take a break during the summer. But they have a lot archived, so I can go back and watch the old ones till they return. Well, that's just the sister chat won't be happening. But I think they both still post on their regular, they post regular videos like tutorials. Oh, another thing, all of her patterns are free. All of Tiffany's patterns, they offer them for free, PDFs on her website. That is just phenomenal. It's almost stumbling across another crystal. That's just crazy and such a blessing. So she doesn't have video tutorials on every pattern, but she does have some of them on YouTube. And then Cindy's older than Tiffany. I don't think by much, but she has her own YouTube channel as well, which I think she has recently started. And so she's doing crochet there. I think she does other things too, because the other day she was talking about some flowers she had made out of brooches. Very cute, kind of eclectic. Okay, this is a shell. So I'm sure that will be another whip very soon, because I want to see how those colors work together. And how cool if I can make something really beautiful out of yarns that I would never have purchased on my own. That is the cool thing about mystery boxes. They introduce you to yarns you would not normally purchase. Of course, you also get the yarns that you still haven't found a use for. But, those novelty yarns. I got some, it's very pretty. It just won't work into normal crochet. Like, there's this one that's this suede, like ribbon-like yarn. Well, that's pretty, but what am I going to use it for? I was thinking headbands. I am going to try and make some headbands with those kind of yarns. I have a few. But it's not high on the to-do list, so hasn't been started yet. Which brings me to my headband. Oh, did my phone? Looks like it dropped a little bit. You probably can't see me or my work, right? Sorry about that. Okay, so this headband is one I made. It's like, I think it's like 5 granny squares. It is I think it's a 1 weight. Yeah, it's a fingering weight cotton blend. I don't even remember what the brand is. It's a yarn I've had probably since I started crocheting. Let's see. I had it on my Etsy store, but I decided its time was up. So I removed it and claimed it. I needed a headband anyway, so. Okay. This is inverted. I just know I'm going to make a mistake here because I am chattering away. Actually, I haven't. That's pretty good. I'm going pretty slow. Okay, let's see. We are at a double crochet, 3 together. So we are on row 5. I have 1 more row to do after this one. And I will be done with April's squares. And then there's that new channel that recently popped up. Fabio's Crochet by Fabio. I'm not sure what his channel name is. But that looks so cool, the way he is putting that sweater together. I wanted to try that, but I think I'm gonna have to hold off a bit on that one. I just have too many things I want to do. And I don't have an urgent need for a men's sweater because Greg doesn't really wear sweaters. Inverted. She calls the double crochet 3 together an inverted shell, which it does look like. Hi, sweetie pie. Dogs have returned from their excursion with Papa. Good girl. Okay, lay down. Okay, time to unwind because this is getting frustrating. Okay. Continue. With a shell. I don't think that I am going to buy Big Twist again. I just can't help splitting it. And that is not a good look. Inverted. So if you're interested in giveaways, hopefully you have caught Too Curious Crochet, because she is just finishing up her 10 days of giveaways, including her 900 subscriber giveaway. Who else has a giveaway going? June and, oh, I forget the other lady's name. I think they might be sisters. In the UK, they have a $7,000, yes, right. 7,000 subscriber giveaway going, which looks like it includes some higher end yarn and a nice project bag. I think there was, oh, Creative Grandma has one going. For some cotton yarns. I think it's Premier Home Cotton. That's for like 16 skeins of yarn. It's a nice giveaway. Plus her usual set of Susan Bates hooks, which she loves. And there was one more. Lucas, I think it's Lucas, has a 2,000 subscriber giveaway going. This is cool. It's I think he's giving away 2 mystery boxes. I don't think he said from where or from who he's buying them from. I think he's buying them from someone. I could be wrong. It might be his yarn that he has. Anyway, he said it was 2 mystery boxes. I think that's all I know about. I think Nancy at She's Got Yarn is doing something as well on Fridays. But honestly, I got so confused by hers that I didn't enter anything there. I don't think so. I don't think I made a comment. She was talking about cookies and holding up a yarn of cookie yarn, and I think we were supposed to tell, oh, I did enter her comment, but I have no idea if I entered a giveaway or not. You weren't allowed to say that word, and then you just had to tell her what your favorite kind of cookie was, something like that. It was too confusing for my brain at the time. I think I was watching it late at night. Corner. Once again, paralyzed at the corners, as usual. Three double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. If there is one thing I will learn, it is that. It actually was pretty easy to pick up the pattern itself after the first square. Oops. Complete with the new color, please. This is the inverted. Does anybody else talk to themselves while they crochet? Where am I? Here you are. That guy Fabio has a cute way of teaching, though, on his video. He talks to himself all the time. And it's kind of funny. Engaging. One. Okay, that's a shell. That's an inverted. Yes, it is. Carry the white. And we have finally finished row 5, and it only took an hour. At this rate. Okay. Slip stitch with white. Okay, gotta go for a bit. I'll see you in a while. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Some duties to attend to, laundry and such. Put a pizza in the oven. Frozen pizza, that is. California Pizza Kitchen, barbecue. Tasty. It's good in a pinch. Let's see. Okay, so we're starting row 6, finally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So it's an even row, so I start with chain 2. And double crochet 3 together. So one more thing I will add about Fabio's website, if you have not checked him out yet. Just a word of caution. I don't know if it's a fluke or not, but he did a couple of test videos at the beginning of his time on YouTube, and he wasn't wearing a shirt. And I think he was just messing around with the camera. Somebody told him just to get used to being in front of the camera and, you know, so just turn it on and talk. But, so they weren't crochet per se related. He was just talking about what he was going to do, I think. I can't even remember. They were short videos. But ever since watching those two videos, YouTube has recommended videos with people half unclothed to me. And I'm like, okay, that's never happened before. And I know they use your watch history to recommend new channels to you. So if you haven't watched those videos and you don't want those kind of videos coming up as suggestions, don't watch them. The other stuff is fine. His tutorials are great. Yeah. Crazy. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. Pay attention. Change color. We are on the home stretch here. Okay. Did I do that right? It does not look right. No. Okay. That should have been two together. So where did the extra one come from? Two. Okay. That's better. So what will we get to work on next? I think we will go back to the shawl along. I have seen such pretty examples being shown on the Bag of Day Facebook page of people who have gotten through part 5 now. Just gorgeous. The colorway, some people are just using gradient cakes, and those shawls are gorgeous as well. Just really nice. And then I want to do an update of where I stand with my Make 9 yarns, because we are now through 4 months of the year. I think I'm doing okay, but there are some that I have not touched yet, and others which I used for a project but didn't come near using up all the yarn. So we have to finish those up. And hopefully you'll come back and crochet with me as I work on the shawl along. That is really pretty. I love those spring colors. If I don't say so myself. That's the thing about Big Twist. There certainly were a lot of colors to choose from. But splitty yarn is no fun. So I'm listening to an audiobook by Michael Crichton. I think that's his name. Famous guy who wrote some of the movies that I think Harrison Ford starred in. I just wanted something kind of action and adventure that would last a while. It's okay, but it goes into a lot of detail about protocol and missiles. Things that don't really keep my attention. So I guess I tune out because all of a sudden he's talking about something totally different and I am lost. Good girl. Okay, well, I think I need to go attend to my dogs because she's sitting here panting, looking at me. Might be time for feeding. Okay, thanks for crocheting with me today, and I hope to see you again. And this is Christine signing off. Bye.